Oh, hello friends, you thought I was gone. I actually came back with reinforcement. We just had a baby. But this is not a channel about babies, it's a channel about web development. So let me show you what we're going to do in this project today. Sorry about the sunglasses, I have a huge hangover. Okay, so let's get into the site. This is just basically a landing page with a video background. So let me just refresh this. So take a look at this wonderful lady right here and the animation of the text, which is coming on smoothly, and also the navigation bar up here. So if you didn't see it, let me refresh this again. Okay, so as you can see, navigation bar comes in smoothly, and we'll have two animations here with our about section coming in from the left side of the screen and the content section coming in from the right side of the screen. Down here we will just have Lauren Ipsum. Follow me on social. It will click on one of these, then this will open up Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and LinkedIn. Okay. So also, if we want to close the about section, we could close it with the X button right here. Let's open it up again, or click on about again. This will also close the section. Contact, the same thing. Click the contact section, click contact button. It will close, or click the X right up here. So we will use HTML, CSS, and JavaScript to create this. So let's get into it. See you soon. Okay guys, so I just created an empty folder called fitness landing page. And within here, we're going to create our index.html, our style.css, and our main.js. Okay, let's create here boilerplate. Let's give this a let me just reach for the microphone, sorry about that. Let's give this a title of fitness landing page, and go down here and let's start with our HTML. Now I will include Font Awesome into this. So first let's include Font Awesome. I already have a kit. You can either get the CDN or the kit for the Font Awesome. I'm just going to copy in my kit. So just go to fontawesome.com and create a free kit if you want, and just grab your kit, or go to Font Awesome CDN. So you can Google Font Awesome. Let me just quickly show Font Awesome. So this will be the Font Awesome site, or go to Font Awesome. Not this one. I want the CDN. Okay, so just grab onto this, or actually this should also work. Okay, so just grab onto it and copy it in. Okay, let me close up this too. So Font Awesome is linked up. We will need Font Awesome for these icons right here. So for Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and also in the contact section, we'll see we have this pointer, phone, and email. Also this paper, plane, something. Okay. So next up, we're going to link up our style. So link and style.css. And down here in our body, I'm going to link up our JS file by using the script tag, and the source will be main.js. Okay, so we have all three of them linked up. Now let's create, first of all, our navigation. Let me actually draw out what we will create. So we will create a nav bar. Hello, what are you doing? We don't want you. Okay, navigation bar. Then we will create a section for a header. Say header. In the header, we will have this video background. Then I want to have two sections. One being the about section. I think there's somebody just having a wedding down here. Okay, so back. We will need a about section and a context section. Jesus, guys, let me do my video. Damn it. Okay, header section, navigation. Boom, there we go. Nav tag. We also need a class of Nav Bar. And within here, I'm going to have this icon. Actually, but it's not an icon, but the branding. Now, I would usually wrap this into an anchor tag. It should go nowhere, and let me also give this a class of navbar brand. Okay, and within here I'm going to type in Relaxovision. If you ever saw Freakazoid, this is actually a reference to that cartoon. So next up I'm going to create an unordered list, and I'm going to give this a class of navbar. Navbar and nav. And then within our unordered list, we create a li, so an anchor tag with, actually I don't want to give this any class, but within here I'm going to create an anchor tag, and this should go nowhere, so the href, but I will give this a ID. I want to grab onto the ID of this later on in our JavaScript, and this will be about and link. Okay, and I also give it a class of nav link. Okay, so we can actually copy this one more time, and I actually forgot to type in here about. Okay, so let's start opening this up, because until now we just typed in things. So there we go. Yay! This is what we created for now. Just going to leave this zoomed in. I'm going to zoom out as we go along the course, not the course, the video. Okay, down here we will have our next link for the contact, and there should be also here contact. Okay, so we have our two navigation items, and now let's go for the header. Okay, let's create a header tag, and also get to give this a class of header. And within here I'm going to create a div, just a basic div with a class of video container. So this will contain our actual video. Within here I'm going to create a video tag, and for the source, I actually need to create this. I'm going to create a new folder. I'm going to call it video, and within this I'm going to go now to, where did I get the video? I think it was from Pexels video. Actually here. So click on video, and then let's search for fitness. And I think, this is it. Okay, so I grabbed onto this, download, free download, and I actually grabbed onto the 780p. So you can change the sizes. Let me grab onto the original this time. Download. Let's go to download it into your folder. and I'm going to leave it as video. Okay, so I have it now in my folder, and now can go within using backslash video. So I'm in my folder now and grab onto the video. Okay, so right here we have our video. Now, in order to get those, let me actually resize it. So let me go into CSS and let's grab onto the class of video container. And from here, I'm going to position it absolute. And now I'm going to push it to the top 0 and left 0. So it's going to be absolutely positioned top 0 and left 0. So it's up here, it's anchor point. Now I'm going to also give it a width of 100% and a height of 100%. And then overflow hidden, so it overflows with everything that we do here. And now I'm going to go into our video container, but grab onto the video tag. And I'm going to give this a min width of 100% and a max width of 100%. And also position this absolute. And top 50% and left 50%. And now we're going to transform it by translating it on both axes. Translate both axes with minus 50% on the x-axis and minus 50% on the y-axis. Okay, so there it is. It's exactly in the middle of the page, in the center of the page now. And now we can use object fit as cover. Okay. Now if I would zoom back out, it's now in the center of the page. Now I'm going to target the after with the pseudo class of after, so video container and after. And let me just delete this. I'm going to say that the content should be with a z index 1, so it should be over this. The height of 100% and a width of 100%. Now top and left 0 again. And position absolute. Okay, so now let me go back into our HTML because we need to do something in order to see it play, because now it's just a static image. Down here in our video tag, now type in Autoplay. Okay, and as soon as I hit save, you can see the video is playing. And also if you would have sound, then you could mute it, and in order to not stop, so you see that after the video is done, I just wait a second. Okay, it stops. So in order for this to play in a loop, we just type in here loop. And this will loop through the video, so the video won't stop anymore. Okay, now let's create content over this video. So for this, I'm going to go under our video tag and also under our div of video container. Now let's create another container, and I'm just going to create another div tag with a class of content. And within this, we're going to create an h1, which is be our title, with get in touch with yourself. There should be a small e. Okay, so there's our title. Then a h3 with relax your vision. And underneath of this, I'm going to create a anchor tag, which will actually go nowhere. Just refresh the page. And within here, I'm going to create a button. Okay, do I need this in an anchor tag? No, I don't want it. Just going to create a button tag. And I'm going to give this a class of btn. And type in here, read more. Okay, so that's basically it. So we have our button, we have our tag, we have our title up here, and our subtitle. Now let's go back into our, actually let me finish this. I was going to create now our about section. So I'm going to create a section tag. I'm going to give this a ID of about. I'm going to use this in JavaScript, and also a class of about. Okay, down here, a h2 with the title of about, and after this, a anchor tag with a class of not an href. Just need a class of close. And this is going to be our close buttoning. So the button that you saw just here, let me open this. This one right here is actually this anchor tag class of close and just an X. Underneath of this, I'm going to create a paragraph tag, and with just a generic lorem ipsum. Okay, and after our paragraph tag, we'll have another h2 with follow me on social. Media. Okay, after this, we're going to create another container, say div tag with a class of social. And this is where all of our social tags will live. Now for this, we need font awesome, so this is why I included font awesome up here in order to get the icons. So let's start with creating an anchor tag, and just going to copy this. So this would be a, for example, if you want to for someone to go to the Twitter, then you would need your Twitter tag, so Twitter link for the HTTPS. And I also wanted to open it up in a blank page, so in a new page. So I would use target and then blank. Okay, so this will open up the link in a new page, and within our anchor tag, we will create our icon tag with a class of FAB and then FA Twitter. Okay, so if I would hit save, actually down here is the Twitter tag. I don't think you can see it right now. It's also overflowing with, there it is. There's a Twitter tag. Okay, and if I wanted to make it larger, then I could automatically do this within here by typing in FA and then dash and then 2x. Okay, if I would hit save, you'll see that the icon just got larger. So I'm going to do this for Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, but I'm going to actually copy them. You want to waste your time with typing in all of this. So there's our 4 icons. And yeah, if we click on them, I can't actually click right now on them because they're behind this video, but we'll take care of this using CSS. Okay, next up we need our contact section, and we'll again create another section tag and give this a ID of contact and a class of contact. Okay, now we're going to repeat again what we did up here. So I will need our close button and also a title of, so I want to place the title after our anchor tag. This will be contact me. And after our H2, we're going to create a unordered list, which I'm going to give a class of contact details dash details. And then let's create an anchor tag, a list item, then an icon tag. I'm going to use font awesome again. So I'm going to use class of FA and FA-map-marker. Okay, so this will give us that. Oh, where are you? This should give us the marker. So let me just type in here after icon tag. So after the icon tag closes up, we will type in here Chicago or whatever city you want to actually type in New York City from the US. FA map marker. Forgotten R marker. There we go. Okay, now let me copy this 2 more times. So I just copied the li, the icon tag, and also the text. And I'm going to replace the second tag with the FA phone. And just type in here phone address, so phone, and some kind of phone number, doesn't matter. Please don't call this number, this is not my actual number. Now the last one, we'll need an envelope, because this will be the email part. So email, and just type in here mail@mail.com. You could obviously use your own email address if you wish. So what are we missing? After this, I'm going to create a paragraph tag and just type in here, let's get in touch and send a message. Massage a message. Okay, and touch. Great. Now after this, so we're actually, let me zoom out now. So we're down here, and hey, you know what? I'm going to take out the video section because this is annoying. So I'm going to go into our header section and comment it out. Boom, it's gone. So you can see what we're creating here. Okay, we have this. Let me zoom in again. And let's go back into our HTML, into our context section. And after our paragraph tag, we will want to create a form. Now this right here is actually, go away. I have to reset you. The context section, as you can see, it has a, come on boo boo, there it is. It has a form. Now let me style this form. I should create first of all this form. So let's zoom back in here. Oh, wouldn't it be easier if I would do this and jump between them? Yeah, I think you can see this much clearer now. So I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. Okay, form. We don't need an action. We just need an empty form, which will have a few input tags with a type of text. We don't need any name and we don't need an ID. We just need a placeholder, and this will be the placeholder for the name. So if we jump back, if we jump back in here, we'll have our first input. Okay, I'm going to copy this 2 more times, our input tag, and replace this with email, and the last one we'll replace it with subject. So we want our user to be able to send us a form using his name, his email, what's the subject about, and after this we're going to also include a text area. We don't need the name, we don't need an ID, we just need the rows and columns, and we need also a placeholder with message. So what's your message? They should type in their message within here. Okay, now after we're finished with our form, we also want to be able to send it. So let's create a button with a type. Oh, come on. Type of submit. Okay, so this will actually submit our form, but we don't have any action, so it will not submit our form. But if you want it to be submitted, then you will need the type of submit or use an input tag instead of a button. Okay, and I also want to give this the class of btn, because as soon as I style one btn class, for example, hey, where you go? Button, we have a button, yeah, we have this button right here. So as soon as I will style this class, I also want it to take effect upon this one. Okay, and within our button, we will just have a send message. And I'm actually going to also create a icon tag with a class of FA and FA paper plane. Okay, so let's see. There we go. Yeah, well, that's basically it for HTML. Now let's jump into CSS and let's start styling everything. Now I could put this to the side. And yeah, I actually think you can see this. Yeah, you should see everything that is happening now. So I'm going to zoom out now again. And up here, I'm going to do a few things. First of all, let me include a font. So I did have Google Fonts open because I need 2 fonts from here. First of all, I need the font. So if you never use Google Fonts, which font was this? View, Railway, exactly. This was the Railway fonts. So you just go up here and search for Railway. There you go. Click on Railway. This should open up. Ooh, I have my mouse on huge speed. Should open up this, and I used Railway 400. So if I click on Removes, we will go down here. Select this style. You will see we would have it in here. Then click on. Or if you don't have this open, this is actually how you open it. So view your selected families. Go in here. Click on Embed. Click on Import. And copy everything that is between these 2 style tags, okay? So copy this one, go into your code, and up here, click Import. And hit Save. And now I will take my H1 and give this a font family of, let's just copy this. railway. And now if you take a look in our design, you will see that the H1, where is it? Follow me on social. Hey, where's our H1? Ah, we commented it out. So let's comment back in our header. And there it is. Railway. Get in touch with yourself. Okay, and for the body I'm going to use something else. I'm going to use Open Sans, I believe. Did I use Open Sans? Yeah. So Open Sans, go back into so go up here and search for Open Sans. There we go. And if you would click on, I use the regular 400 style font size. Now if you do this, then it will add it to your import. So you could do this, copy this again, go into editor, and then copy it in and replace this. Okay, so you will now have both font size, font families. Now I will grab onto my body tag, and for the body tag I'm going to use the font family of Open Sans. So let's go back into our editor and use for the body the Open Sans. And if you hit save, you'll see that now our entire body has, oh, don't want to save you, has the font family of Open Sans. Now I'm also going to create now a general reset, and this is perfect if I create it right now, because you see we have here a bit of a border and margins, and this is based on each and every browser is different. So the way we do a reset, we just click on we just type in star, and then we will type in margin and set everything to 0, and also padding and set everything to 0. And if I hit save, see everything is now smushed together. It has 0 padding and 0 margin for all of our elements. And also let me set the box sizing to border box. Okay, now another thing that I would usually do, you can see it right now, but behind the list items here, there are those bubbles, and I don't want to see them. So normally I would do something like list items and anchor tags should have the list style of none and the text decoration of none. So they would they won't have any underlines or those bubbles for list items. And I'll also set the color for this to the hash of FFF. Okay, we can see them any longer, but we will see them later on when we create our bodies. So let me comment this out so we can actually see them and hit save. Now we for the body, I still wanted to do something. I want to set the overflow. Let me just set the overflow to hidden and comment it out. And I'll explain to you a bit later on what this will do as soon as we get there. And also want to increase the line height for the entire body to 1.5. Okay, so we just have a bit of more space within our line heights. Okay, next up, let's start styling our navigation. So go down here, let me actually type in here a comment of navigation, and this was just general styling. Okay, let's get into it. So we had our class of Nav Bar, and now I'm going to set it over everything. So I'm going to set it as a Z index of 2 with the overflow of hidden. We're going to position it relative to its parent, which is the body, and display it as flex, not inline, but flex. Okay, so we have our items now flexed in a row, but we have two items. We have our anchor tag, which is this which is this, which was this, where are you? This brand, Nav Bar brand. Okay, so the Rexo vision. And then we have our next element, which is the Nav Bar nav. Okay, so let's go back into our style. And let's align the items to the baseline. Wait, if I do this, you will not see what this does, but let me just comment this out. Grab onto the class of Nav Bar nav and display it as flex. So now we're displaying also these items right here as flex, but I want the nav bar to have a font size of 2 rem and our nav bar nav li, so the list items, should have a font size of 1.3 rem. Okay, so they're just a tinge smaller than this Relaxo vision, and I want them to have them on the same line, so this is why I use align items as baseline. Okay, so this will align the items to the baseline of the flex container. Now, I also want to give that a bit of padding to padding top and bottom of 0.5 rem and left and right of 1 rem. Okay, so this would just push everything top and the bottom and the left and right with 1 rem and 0.5 from the top and bottom. Now I also want to justify the contents after our flex here to the start. Okay, so this would be everything pushed to the start. You can see large changes right here, but if I would type in more and more items, this would push everything to the center. And actually in display flex, everything is justified to the start, but I don't want to mess with it later on. Okay, let me also give this a bit of padding. So the LIs, the list item, between them, I want to have a padding of 1 rem overall. Okay, now let's take care of our H1s, of our title right here. So this is actually the end of navigation, and now comes the header. So I'm going to close this one up here. I know this is where it ends, and now for the header. Well, the video container is also in the header, so I'm going to leave it in here. But I'm going to grab onto the H1 now and increase its font size to 300. Actually, font weight, not size. Oh, the font weight is 400, so it's okay as it is. So font size to 80 pixels. Then I'm going to change its line height to 1.2. And I'm going to give it a bit of a margin from the bottom of, let's say, 70 pixels. Now we already have our, actually we could just cut this out, copy it in here. And delete the H1s. Okay, so I want to have everything in one setting. Now for the H2, which is actually this relax your vision, go down here, increase its font size to 3 rem. And now for the H3, we give this a opacity of 0. And this is actually this relax your vision. So first of all, I need to create a keyframe. So let me go up here, create a keyframe, And I'm going to give this a name of fade in. And this will go from 0% with the opacity of 0, then to 50% with the opacity of 0.2, and 100% with the opacity of 1. Okay, now let's use this animation for the nav bar, the H1, the H3, which is this one, and our read more, which is the button right here. Okay, so I'm going to select now H1, H3, then the class of nav bar, and a class of read more. I think I didn't give this a class. Let me just check it. Nav bar btn. Oh, and also I wanted to give it the class of read more. There we go. Yay. Okay, so back in our CSS, we have all three of this selected. And now I'm just going to include our animation. So the animation that we created right here, the fade in, I'm going to use animation and with the name of fade in. And this should go for 8 seconds and with the ease in. Okay, so let's see. Hey, this is working perfectly. Now let's style our header. Now the header tag, actually the header class, we could also take the header tag, but I'm going to use the class of header. And I'm going to give this a height of 100 viewport heights, and this will stretch everything out. Not right now. So this one right here, so this now has a height of 100 viewport heights. This entire header right here. This is what everything here is pushed now down. So our contact and our about section are pushed down. Now I'm going to display everything that is in our header as flex and align everything to the center, align the items to the center, and also justify the contact to the center, and also use text align center. So everything is in the center. And for the color, I'm going to change now the color to #FFF. Now we can't see anything anymore, but let me actually comment this out. I'm going to comment this in later on, and also use padding 0 top and bottom and 20 pixel left and right. Okay, so the animation is happening right here, and the text color, the text should also animate in. Oh, this is pushed down now. Okay, so with the container, we have it positioned at absolute, top left, this is right, overflow hidden. Then the video is also min width, max width of 100%, positioned absolute, top and left 50%, and it will translate then 50% on the X and Y axis, and the object fit is cover. Okay, this is also right. And now we only need the content, the class of content. They have a margin from the top of 20% and a Z index of 2. And there we go, there's our text. Let me just make this larger. Yay! There we have it. Okay. Now let me switch between these two. Also, let me just leave it as it is so we can see something. Next up, let's style our button. So this is it for the header. No, actually the button is still within the header, so let me grab onto the class of btn. I could now do this, and you will see that we have here our class of btn. So grab onto this class, and let's display it as an inline block, a table block. I'll give it a padding from top and bottom of 10 pixels and left and right 30 pixels. .xp pixels. Now let's change the color of the text to the hash of 111. And I'm going to give it a border radius of 5 pixels. And let's just see how this is turning out. So this is our button right here. You see it has now a border radius and a color of dark. Okay. So let me actually snap it to the side here. No, not this one. And snap this over here. So actually we can see the styling of our button. Now next I want to get rid of the borders and this outline right here. So set the borders border to none, and also outline to none. And this will get rid of the borders and our outline. Okay, so yep, no borders, no outline. Now I also wanted to push it down a bit, so I'm going to use margin from the top of 25 pixels, and I'm going to now give it a bit of opacity of 0.7. So let me just check it out. Yeah, it has a bit of an opacity, and when I hover over it, I want the cursor to be pointer. Okay, so if we go over our button, and the cursor should be pointer, perfect. Now, in an active state, so when I click on this button, I want to have that effect that something actually happens. So let me go into the class of btn and then active. So when we click on it, when it's active, I want to transform the scale to 0.98 and outline solid. Let's see how this looks. So if I click on it, you see it has a bit of an outline, and it also scales down a bit. Okay, now that's it for our button, and actually that's it for our entire header. So let me go here, and now we can comment back in a few things. So anchor tags and LIs, color white, body overflow hidden, and no, I don't want to do this right now. I'm going to show you this a bit later on. This, then header color white, and then hit save. So let's just hit save and let's see what happens. So now the text is white, the button color is black, our navigation is also white. This is looking good. Now we still have to deal with our about and context section, and we need to make them disappear and appear when we click on this too. Okay, so that's the next thing we're going to style. Or should I do this or should I do the JavaScript part first? Now I'm actually going to do this, but because if I do the JavaScript part and as soon as I click on this and it pops in and I style something and it refreshes, then you won't see it. So let's do the styling first, and after that we're going to do the functionality. Okay. So we have our header completed. Now I still want to go to our social, so the class of social, and from this I'm going to grab into the anchor tags and give them a margin of 0 and 5 pixels, and also change the color to #FFF. Okay, so let's take a look at this. The social tags are gone, you can't see them, but I just pushed the anchor tags a bit to the right. Now let's take care of our about section. So let's go in here, type in another comment. Did I comment this side? Ah, whatever. This is our about section. So let's grab onto the class of about. Are you fucking kidding me? Somebody's mowing the lawn right now. Yay! Okay. Well, I'm going to position it absolute at the end. So position absolute. Hit save, and it's no longer there. Or actually it is there, but not as I wanted. So I'm going to comment this out, so you can see the styling, and after that I'm going to comment it back in again. Okay, I'm going to change the background color to a RGBA 106 for the red, 129 for the red, for the green, and 132 for the blue, and 0.75 for the alpha. Okay, so this is how we get this bluish color. Now let me give it a width of 50 viewport widths. Okay, so this will only have 50% actually from the width of one viewport. Now the height should be 95 viewport heights, because I want it to land right underneath our navigation right here. So when I would click on the about section, it will come in but stay underneath our navigation. Okay, so then it would be positioned left -100%, and I'm going to comment this out because it's gone if I do this. And then top, from the top is going to go down 5 viewport heights. Okay, now for the color, I'm going to change the color of the text to white, so FFF. I'm going to display everything as flex, not direction, display, flex. And because normally flex is in a row, I'm going to change the flex direction to a column. So flex direction column. So hit save. Let's take a look at this. Everything's now flexed into a column, but I also want to align everything to the center. So align items center. Let's hit save. Let's take a look at this again. Now everything is aligned to the center. Now in order to get the space between them, we could either use padding, or we could just justify the content with space evenly. Maybe I could shut some fucking windows because it's driving me crazy right now. So wait just a second, I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. Okay. So we have, yep, we have now the space. We have them spaced evenly, and I also want this to go with a z-index of 2, so it would be above our video right here, our video content. And when it comes in, I want it to have a transition of 1 second ease. Just ease, not ease in. Okay. Next up, let's take care of our button right here. So this button should be up here. Now let's go down here and let's take the class of btn actually not btn, we had our, within our about, we had our close button. Now I am specifically telling it that this class of close is from the class of about, because if I do the styling for both this access, I have this one right here, and I also have one for the about section. Well, it will style them incorrectly, because this one, so this close button, we want it to be positioned absolute, and then left 10 pixels, and from the top 10 pixels, and also cursor pointer. Now the other one, actually I'm going to do it right here within our about, not about, contact. It should be right 10 pixels and not left. Okay. Now using JavaScript, we will loop through these classes of about and toggle another class of show about. We're going to hide this by using position absolute, and when we're going to click on our navigation here, then it will show our about section, and we'll achieve this by toggling this class of show, and this will push everything to the left 0 with a padding of 0.2 rem top and bottom, and 0.5 rem left and right. And when this is toggled, I also want the about section to have a border radius of 5 pixels and a transition of 1 second and ease. And the last thing I want to style here is this paragraph tag, which are we now at 100%? Yeah, now we're at 100%. So the paragraph tag within our about section, select the paragraph tag, and I want it to have a padding of 0 rem top and bottom and 2.5 rem left and right, which will then align our text with this part right here. Well, not right now, but you will see later on. Okay. So I have this set up, this set up. Okay, now let's jump into JavaScript, because as soon as we do this, we're going to actually style both of them. Or, now let's finish with the content section of the page. And then we're completely finished with our styling. Okay, so this was about, and this ends right here. And now let's grab on to the contact section. Alright, so class of contact. And let's position this also absolute and comment it out. And it's pretty much repetitive with what we did up here in our about section. So let me copy this. Copy it in here, and we just need to change. Wait a sec. This would be right 100%, and everything else stays the same. Also, I could copy now our show contact, and the only thing that we change here is instead of left, we have now right. We took care of our close, which is up here. This is also good. And yeah, and now I need to style a few things right here in our contact section. So I want to style this part and this part. So the contact form. Okay, so let me actually squeeze this together a bit and change it to this side so we can actually see what happens. Now let's take our class of contact. I'll still keep typing in traffic. So contact details, and from this we're going to take the list items. Now let's give them a padding on 1 rem top and bottom and 0 left and right. Okay, so just get them a bit of a padding, and now also want to give a padding between the icon tags and the text. So I'm going to copy this, and instead of this, type in the end. I'm going to type in the I for the anchor tags, and I just want to have them a padding to the right side of them. So top 0, right 1, bottom 0, and left 0. Okay, so this will only give them a padding to the right side. Now for the contact form, which is this down here, so let's grab on from the class of contact to the form tag, and I'm going to display it as flex. The flex direction should be in a column, and the max width of it, so the max width of the contact form will be 300 pixels. Now if I hit save and we go down to our contact form, you can see it's 300 pixels and everything is in a column, displayed in a column. Now the last thing I want to do is actually style our input tags. So let's grab onto the contact class again, and within the contact class to all of our inputs. Now let's give them a margin of 1 rem top and bottom and left and right auto. And if I hit save, this will now this won't do anything because I also need to give them a width of 100%, not dollars, percent. And now it should work. If I would also give them a height of 25 pixels, and now it should. Still doesn't work. I forget to get them a padding. Okay, padding 0.1 rem top and bottom and 3 rem left and right. Not content, contact. Jesus, contact. Now it's working 100%. There we go. Okay, so we have this, we have a height, we have... Now I want to give them a bit of a border radius. A background border dash radius of 3 pixels. Outline none. So we're going to get rid of the outlines and get rid of the borders by setting the awesome to none. And yay, that's it. Let's take a look at this. You can see it has a bit of a border and also have padding. Okay, so that's it for this part. Now let's display them as absolute and comment this in, this in, this in, and this in. And if we hit save, then we will have nothing down here but a problem to the right. Now the contact is set 100% to the right, and this is because I still have my up here. The body will now set the overflow to hidden. If we do this, then everything stays within one huge window. Okay, so nothing is visible anymore. Now, using the power of JavaScript, we'll make them appear. So let's open up JavaScript. Actually, open up our JavaScript file, and we need to grab onto a couple of things. So first of all, we're going to create a const of about link. Jesus, about link. So let's go to the document. And we're going to get element by ID. You can also use query selector, but this time I'm going to use get element by ID. I'm going to grab onto the ID of about link, which is this link item right here. So grab onto this, go in here, copy it in. Now create another const, which we'll call about. And now we'll go to the document and get element by ID. Now we're going to grab onto the ID of about. Okay, so this is the ID from our about section. Go down here, you can see the section where the about is created has an ID of about. So we're not grabbing onto the class, but the ID of about. Now last thing I want to grab on, actually we need to grab onto a couple of things more, but now I'm going to create another const, not the constructor, const, and going to also grab onto the close about. So document, yeah, I'm going to use query selector now. So query selector, because I want to go into the ID of about, and from here I'm going to grab onto the class of close, because we have this class of close both in our about section. So we have about section right here, ID of about, and within here we have the class of close. But if you go down to our contact section, you can see we also have this class of close. Now I'm specifically grabbing on to this button right here, or this element, this class. Now we're going to do the same thing once again. So this was for about, and next up we're going to go to contact. So same thing, contact. I think that is about. I'm going to now change to contact. So contact. We don't need this with capital and this with capital, and this should actually work. Okay, so from the ID of contact we have a class of close. It is assigned to a variable of close contact. The const of contact is the ID of contact, and the contact link is assigned to the ID of contact link. Okay, now let's go down here and add our about link, add an event listener. So we want when we, come here boo boo, when we click on this about, now I'm also going to open up our console, zoom in, and let's see. I'm going to add onto event listener, and we are going to listen for a click. And when this click happens, we're going to use an arrow function, and this arrow function will do the following. It will grab onto the const of about, and then class list, and now I will use toggle, and this will toggle between the initial class and the class of show about. So you can remember we created this using CSS, and yeah, let's try this by console logging it. So if this happens, I also want to console log about, just console log me, more ease, me. Okay, let's see. So if I would click on, come on, oh, you're up there, it's somewhere up here, there we go. It toggles the class, and you can see it's working. Okay, Now I also want to, once again, so this is already working. Now I also wanted to grab onto this X right here and also make this work. Okay, so only if we click on about, right now it's working, but I also wanted to make it work for the X right here. So this is why, actually I could now take out this console log, go down here, grab onto the am I missing something? To close about, also add a event listener, and this will also listen for a click, and when this click happens, we'll have our function of, actually the same, see this one again. So let's try it out. So about, this comes in, and if I click on X, it disappears. Okay, now we actually have to do the same thing for our contact section, and then we're done. So let's go back into our JavaScript, and let's see, we just need to grab onto this, copy it down here, and let's see, this was, actually I wanted to do it this way, so I'm going to take this out, copy it up here, and everything that is contact I'm going to replace here with contact. Okay, this should be capital C, this should be capital C, and this should be close contact with a capital C. So let's try this out. Click on, whoa, not working. Why aren't you working? Houston, we made a boo-boo. So contact link, when someone clicks on you, then the contact toggles the class of show contact. What's your problem, contact? Houston, we have a problem. Show contact, show contact. Let's take a look in our CSS. So contact show up. There's our problem. Show contact. Let's go back here in our web page. Don't hit save. And it's working. Ladies and gentlemen, it's working. Okay. That's it. That's it for the video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, thumbs up, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel if you want to see more content like this. And I'm so tired, but catch you next time. Bye-bye.